Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're here for the first time. I'm Michi, and today we're going to go over some fragrances that just are addictive to me. They are absolutely addictive, can't stop sniffing them, can't stop wearing them, stuff that I'm really loving. And some of it's, newer fragrances, and some of them are fragrances that have been in my collection for years, and they're still addictive to me. They're still perfumes, fragrances that I feel like I need to slow my roll on, not wear as much, give my other babies a chance. But yeah, so if that sounds interesting to you, then just keep on watching. And also, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do come welcome yourselves into my fragrance friends and family. I would love to have you here, and comment, like, all the good stuff, and let's get started. So the first fragrance that I'm going to talk about is Initio's Rehab, and the name is on the top of the bottle, but I don't know if that's going to be blown out from all the lights, and it probably reflect the camera, but this is Initio's Rehab, and this fragrance is number one. You have got to like spices because there is spices in here, definitely. It's aromatic. It's so comforting. It's such a warm scent, but I do think you could wear it all year round. But to me, it gives this comfort. It's like a comfortable, soft, warm blanket that you've covered yourself in. It's so almost like relaxing and definitely warm. Various spices. There's a little bit of a citrus note, and then there are the most beautiful woods in here. Cedar wood, sandalwood, clean white woods. It is so stunning. I love the House of Initio. I think it's 10 or 11 of them. I could do a whole video on my Initio collection. I really fell hard for this house and pretty much wanted almost all of the fragrances. And to me, this one is, it could be, some people may think it leans masculine, but to me, if you like spices and clean woods and like a warm comfort hug type feeling, I think it is 100% unisex. I don't feel that it's overly masculine on my skin. What I feel like is that it's warm and spicy and really aromatic. There's lavender, there's pepper, and there's patchouli in there as well, but it's not a patchouli dominant scent to me. I think it's just there to give it some base and some strength. And it is such a comforting scent. It really is. It's like, it just feels like home when I smell this. And I would love for my home to smell like this. If they made a candle, I would 100% buy it. I would love for my whole environment to smell like this. There's something comforting and peaceful about it. And the spices feel like, I don't know, like maybe something's baking in the warm oven. It's kind of like, it's not gourmand, but if you've ever made like a cake or a bread that has allspice in it, or cardamom, nutmeg kind of scent, that's kind of what it gives. But I think this is all year round. I don't think it's just specifically for fall and winter. I think it's such a beautiful fragrance that could be worn all year round. I think in the summer, just go a little light because it is, it does have those spices in there, but there's also like a clean musk and clean woods. So if you were to not overspray this, I think it would be fine for the summer. I may not wear it on like a 105-degree day. Today was like 99 degrees and it was so hot. And that's a day I probably wouldn't wear this fragrance on. But if I were going to stay inside the air conditioning, or if it was, 80, I would absolutely wear this. It is just so comforting. It's the best way I can explain it. It's comforting. It feels like home. It feels like a nice warm cashmere blanket, and it smells like snuggles and just love. And it is something that I became addicted with, wanted to smell it all the time, and just I really appreciate it for the calm, warm energy that I get from it. So go into a major department store and get your nose on it. It is really a beautiful fragrance. The notes in Initio's Rehab are lavender, bergamot, cedar, vetiver, patchouli, sandalwood, musk, and hedione. And so they don't actually tell you what spices are in here, but if you go to the Initio's actual website, they say that it is a harmony of natural raw materials revealed by a skillful combination of bergamot, natural lavender, black pepper, and various spices. So they're not going to tell you what they are, but if I had to bet, I feel like it's like an allspice or a nutmeg or cardamom, something like that, but freshly done so that it's not too heavy, so that it doesn't have to just be a fall and winter scent. Now, if you have watched some of my previous videos or all of my previous videos, I love you so much. But the reason why I lead with that is that I have talked about this fragrance on my channel a couple times now. This is Milky Dragon by Isabelle Larignon. Larignon? I think that's how you say it. Hopefully, somewhat. Anyways, this is my second bottle of this fragrance. I do not go through full bottles of fragrances and repurchase fragrances very often with a collection like mine. But this was a fragrance that I fell in love with. And I wanted my entire environment, my entire life to smell like this fragrance. So I was spraying it all the time. Sometimes, you know, like I say, even if I have a scent of the day, I'll spray my hand and just smell it because there's something comforting about it. And let me spray it for you guys. Now, when I first purchased this fragrance, I didn't know the notes. I just fell in love with the scent. And so to me, it was like mango matcha tea almost. And extremely airy and really comforting and beautiful. And when I did look up the notes, there was no mango and no fruits listed. So I actually reached out to Isabelle and I said, I'm getting like mango or fruit vibes from here. And she said that she had heard that before and that it's actually Mirabelle plums and I believe apricots, but she doesn't list them in the main notes. So the way that the plum and the apricot come off gives me a little bit of mango vibes, but in a very natural way, not artificial way. And there's just something about this fragrance that makes me feel so calm, at peace, and I fall in love with it. Every time I smell it, I fall in love with it. And as I went through my entire bottle and then purchased another one, I now do get the plum and the apricot vibes, but only because I know that it's plum and apricot vibes. Because if I don't think about that still, I still get that little bit of like, almost like fresh mango juice in a matcha latte kind of vibe. And the tea mixed with the fruits is just, it's really beautiful. Really beautiful. I cannot tell you guys how much I am addicted to this fragrance. I just love it. And I tell everyone about it. I'm like, you need to try this. Get yourself a sample. Try it out. I wish it came in a 100 ml bottle. It only comes in the 50 ml bottle. But if I could get one in 100 ml, Isabelle, please, I would be the happiest girl ever. Such a beautiful fragrance. So the notes in this one are cardamom, tea, bergamot, lactones, hazelnut, clary sage, cashmeran, cedar, oak moss, and fir balsam. And there are clean woods here as well. But it's just it's so beautiful. It's so comforting. It's like, if you like those kind of vibes, if you like sort of matcha tea latte, because I say the latte part because there's lactones in here and there is a creaminess to it. And the fruits just, it's like a smoothie almost. Like when I close my eyes and I think about it, it's like a smoothie. That's how smooth it is, creamy it is. And yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm addicted. So you can, I got mine from Scent Bar or Lucky Scent, which is what they are online. If you want to get a sample of it, I really do suggest, if you like those kind of vibes, I think you would love this. Next up, we have this beautiful bottle. This is Antonio Croce's Sofisticata. And I love his bottles. I love the colored bottles. I think they're beautiful. They're quite weighted. They're quite heavy. And it's almost like home decor. It's almost like, you know, I display it and I think it's beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. Now this fragrance, I'm going to get a test strip. Oh my gosh. This fragrance is a stunning creamy vanillic rose. There's definitely tonka bean and, oh my gosh, I can't explain to you. This is such a beautiful fragrance. It's like tonka, vanillic, creamy rose. And it is stunning. It has been compared to Mancera's Roses Vanille, but I think this is a much better fragrance, in my opinion. I think it is absolutely stunning. In my opinion, I could almost call this a masterpiece fragrance. It is truly beautiful, and it makes me feel extremely feminine, extremely pretty, and it also gives sort of a scent bubble around me that makes me feel like I am unbeatable, I am unstoppable. There's something about this that makes me feel like a strong woman. I will say that this fragrance is feminine leaning, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that men, you know, because I know men rock rose all the time. MFK makes a La Rose Homme, and it's outstanding. But there's something about this that just screams womanity to me. It screams girl power, and it's beautiful. I mean, really, really beautiful. And its name is perfect, Sofisticata. It's like a sophisticated woman that is dressed to the nines, and she knows what she wants. She is not troubled by any decisions that she has to make. She knows the answer, and she's decisive. You know, it's like, and that's not me all the time. I mean, half the time my husband's like, what do you want for dinner? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I struggle to like pick things, or, you know, what do I go with? But this woman, no, she knows exactly what she wants. That's what this fragrance gives me. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. I'll read you guys the notes. We have rose, watery notes, lemon, various white flowers, spun sugar, tonka, vanilla, white musks, precious woods, and amber. And it is all of those things. The lemon note, I don't read it as this is a citrus fragrance at all. But I think that it lends to thinking that the rose is a younger rose instead of a full dark, full bloom rose. It's a younger rose. It's probably pink and So the lemon gives a little bit of brightness in here, but I would not smell this and say, oh, there's lemon in there. But the watery rose, pink watery rose, yeah, I absolutely get. And the tonka and vanilla just makes it so creamy and sweet. And the spun sugar, I absolutely could say that I get almost a cotton candy vibe, but in the most sophisticated boss bee type of energy. This is not juvenile. This is not for a 17-year-old girl. This is for a woman, okay? It is stunning. If you want to get your nose on it, I got mine at Dior Prestige in Glendale, California. They do have a website and you can order samples. That's where I picked this up. That's where I fell in love with it. And yeah, get your nose on it. It is beautiful. Next up, we have a small indie house, a Black-owned business. This is Zernell Gillie's Techno. And this guy makes fantastic fragrances. Fantastic. Ooh. Oh. Fantastic fragrances. I actually discovered this fragrance house at the LA Scent Week for the olfactive, what is it? Olfactive Awards. I can't remember the full name of it right now. I'm blanking out. But he was there because his fragrance was being featured by, I believe it was Xilio Perfumery that was there for the Scent Week. And we went and we, were smelling indie perfumes and smaller fragrance houses. And then there were other people there that had perfumeries, and Xilio was there, and they had his fragrance out. And I just fell in love. Oh, I fell in love the second I smelled this. This is so fruity, juicy, like literally like mouth-watering, juicy, but sexy, with like a little bit of saffron in there, a little, oh, yes, there's got to be like saffron or maybe even a leather note or something, but it is not predominant. It's not, the first thing you smell is just juicy, juicy red fruits, and there is some patchouli in here. I do pick up the patchouli, but it is not extremely earthy. It's not a chocolate cakey patchouli, but I do get a bit of patchouli in here as well, which just lends to the sexiness of this fragrance. And I think there's a chocolate note in here as well. And I mean, it is addictive. It is addictive. My husband and I both really like this fragrance. And I wish that he made bigger bottles. This is another house where I wish he made bigger bottles, and maybe one day he will. It's just him. And Zernell, if you see this, hi, how are you? It's just him. He's a one-man show. And so maybe one day we'll get 100 ml bottles. But for now, just take what you can get. And every fragrance that this guy makes, fantastic. Hip hop, fantastic. House, fantastic. Disco, fantastic. They are all good. And he's a DJ, so that's why his fragrances are after music genres. And I love supporting small brands, indie brands, Black-owned businesses. I love putting my money into the pockets of people that are just starting out, just, trying to make it on their own. And I love it. I love it. Before I go and pick up something from, a major designer, I would rather, if I can find something that's even a little better and it's indie, small business, I'm in it. I'm in it. So this one right here, the notes are red fruits, patchouli, pink pepper, saffron, suede, bergamot, incense, rock rose, jasmine, sandalwood, amber, sage, tonka, and lavender. And I do pick up a little bit of the clary sage aromatic in it. but it's not overpowering. It's just a little bit in there to give a little bit of aromatic to it. But this is a fruity, juicy, sexy saffron. It's all year round safe. It is 100% unisex. It's beautiful. It's really a stunning fragrance. And you can get samples of this. I'm not sure if he sells the samples on his site. I mean, I have a feeling he probably does, but I got mine from Xilio Perfumery, and they carry his whole line. You can get samples, and it is gorgeous. And all of them are good. You can't miss. You can't miss with a single one you pick from his line. They're all fantastic fragrances. Next up, I have another fragrance that you may not have heard about. This is Oligarque Iqoniqe. This I also got at Dior Prestige in Glendale, California. I don't know if anyone else actually carries this line in the United States. I could be wrong, but I think Dior Prestige may be the only place you can get this fragrance from. And again, they offer samples if you want to try this. But this scent right here, you want to talk about addicting? I wore, when I got this fragrance, oh, look at that atomizer. Oh, I know you guys can't see that, but like, I'm just so impressed. I got this fragrance and I wore it every single day for a week straight, which is very unlike me. Very unlike me. Some of my fragrance only get worn once a month. When I first got this, I could not stop, can't stop, won't stop, love this fragrance. I mean, it's like heaven. It's like heaven to me. I mean, it's just, there's an orange blossom, vanillic, tonka bean nuttiness to this, and oh man, it is fantastic. It is, I mean, I want to wear it right now. I already have a scent of the day on, but I want to cover my body in this. I have fallen in love with this fragrance, and every time I smell it, I fall in love again. It is gourmand-ish, orange blossom gourmand-ish, but there's almost like a caramel toffee to this, while still remaining a perfume. And it's stunning. It's really beautiful. It really is a fantastic fragrance. Longevity is great on it. Performance is great. I think it's all year round. I think it's unisex 100% across the board. There is just a caramel type sweetness in here, an ambery, caramelly type sweetness. With the florals, there may even be jasmine in here. I'll read you guys the notes like I always do, but it is so beautiful. It feels warm to me. It feels super inviting, comforting, and I just feel so beautiful when I wear this. And man, if there's any of them that you get your nose on, I really just get a sample of this Iconique, because it is beautiful, gorgeous. The notes are clementine, ambrette, ylang ylang, solar orange blossom, white tuberose, coconut milk, vanilla, cashmere wood, sandalwood, tonka, patchouli, and musk. So actually what I'm picking up as what I thought might be jasmine is actually the white tuberose. But it is not heady. It is not too much. It is extremely airy, extremely light. You get the orange blossom more than you get that white flower, but what a beautiful blend. And even though there's tuberose and solar orange blossom, again, this is 100% unisex. I love to smell this on my husband. I love to smell this everywhere. Sometimes I spray my pillow with it before bed just so I can smell it. Honestly, that's how beautiful it is to me. Really, truly Could be even in my top 10 for life. And eventually I may do a video. Top 10 is really a difficult task for me to pick 10 out of 300. But this one is, it's definitely a for lifer. I think it is a fantastic fragrance. All right, next up we have Unique Luxuries Soscientific. This fragrance is beautiful. I bought the Unique Luxuries entire Discovery Set kit, and I fell in love with 4 or 5 of the fragrances. One, I had something very similar in my collection, and that's the only reason I didn't purchase it. One was called Istanbul, and that one is also something I have in my collection that they're similar, but I still love that fragrance so much. And if I wasn't like a hoarder collector, I wouldn't think about having to have that one in my collection because I do have something similar, but it is always on my mind. If I ever find it for a really good price, I'll probably snatch it up. This one though, Soscientific, is a stunning, juicy, floral, yummy, just, oh man. And this is really quite projecting. You get a good sillage. The Unique Luxury perfumes are, some of them are so beast mode that I have had to get in the shower and start over because I oversprayed Chocolate Makes Me Happy once, and I could feel the veins in my head bulging, and I was like, this is not going to be good. I had to get in the shower, exfoliate, scrub. Even when I got out of the shower, I could still smell it on me. Do not overspray these fragrances. I am telling you, you will live to regret it. But Soscientific. There's like peach and plum and various florals, and I feel this is probably more feminine leaning, but I think a guy could pull this off as well. But it is the most fruity, juicy, a little bit of vanillic or tonka or something. I don't have anything like this in my collection. This is completely unique. I do not have anything that could even be a cousin to this fragrance. That's how unique it is. And it feels fun and flirty and juicy. I think this could be worn all year round, but I think even more, especially for spring, summer, early fall. But you know what? Who knows? It could be December and I want to feel fruity. I want to feel juicy, and I'll pop this on, and I know it's going to perform no matter what month we're in. But it is really, really pretty. Really pretty. And the fruits, not one specific fruit pops out to me more than another. It's really blended beautifully. Really blended beautifully. So I will read you guys the notes. We have osmanthus, orange blossom, grapefruit, peach, strawberry, plum, cherry, pink pepper, jasmine, vanilla, amber, cedar, and musk. And like I said, I read off a lot of fruits, right? But there's not a single one that's like, oh, that's what that is. Except for maybe the plum, maybe. The plum's the only one that kind of sticks out a little bit more to me. But when I smell this, I'm not like, oh, that's peach or oh, that's cherry. It's just the most perfectly blended fruit cocktail ever. With this airy musk and, tonka bean vanillic vibes. Truly a beautiful fragrance, unique fragrance, and well projecting fragrance. I think it is absolutely addictive. And I went through this dent in a matter of like a month because I was wearing it so often and was just like addicted to the way it smelled that I had to tell myself, like, put the bottle down and wear something else. I had to tell myself, like, that's enough. So get your nose on it. I got mine from Beverly Hills Perfumery. you can get samples online, or you can actually buy an entire discovery set from Unique Luxury as well, which was really nice. It was a big box, came with all of them, you know, lined up in little foam things, and the whole house is really beautiful. There are really beautiful fragrances. Hidden Accords was beautiful. There's Crush on Me. Beverly Hills Perfumery has an exclusive with them that's like Beverly Hills exclusive or something like that. There are really masculine fragrances as well in this collection. Ones that I could never pull off, wouldn't even try to pull off. But yeah, there are some stunning fragrances in this collection. Istanbul is another one. The one I told you that if I find that up for a good price, it's on sale, I may just scoop it up, even though I don't need it. Next up, we have Ivory Root by Xerjoff. And let me just tell you how much I love this fragrance. This has got the most beautiful various spices in it. I also wish this came in 100 ml. Xerjoff only makes this in a 50 ml, and my husband and I are addicted to this fragrance. It is a beautiful, spicy fragrance. It does remind me of Rehab by Initio. There are similar vibes to those two fragrances, and that's obviously probably why we love them. But this one is, first of all, great performer, unisex, long-lasting. The sillage is amazing. My husband drove my car while wearing this, and when I got in the car 2 days later, I put my seatbelt on, and where the seatbelt had been across his chest, it was just emulating this beautiful fragrance. And I'm like smelling my seatbelt like, what is that? It's so good. And then I realized it was because he wore Ivory Root, and then he drove my car. It is spicy, woody, warm, and just another comforting scent. Another scent that smells like home, that smells like a warm blanket. And just, this one is very similar to Rehab, but this one does give me a little bit more of cold weather vibes than Rehab. It's a little bit warmer of a scent. It gives a little bit more of holiday feel, a little bit more of fall feel. Like when I smell this, I'm just imagining seeing all these spices, cardamom, nutmeg, allspice, cinnamon, all these spices, pepper, and it's fall, the leaves are turning, you know, maybe I'm drinking a pumpkin spice latte, and just, wow. I cannot even express to you, though, the sillage on this fragrance lasts 4 days. I have done laundry and then picked up my husband's shirt and put it, you know, and it still smells like this. It is just, it's beautiful. Now, with the JTC line of Xerjoff, I don't believe they give out like all the notes for the fragrance, but when you read about it on their website, they say spicy notes, sandalwood, allspice, patchouli, basil, amber. So, and I don't exactly pick up basil, but I feel like it has to be there. It has to be contributing, right? But it doesn't smell like basil. Basil is when you break off a basil leaf and smell it, it's extremely fragrant. And so if the basil in here has to be very airy, very almost watery, because I'm not getting this big, strong, oomph, powerful basil note, but I am getting this all smorgasbord of spices and warmth, and it's also sexy. Like when my husband wears this, I'm like, come on over here, get over here, get a little closer. But when I wear it, I feel sexy as well. Like I want to cuddle myself, okay? But yes, it's a beautiful fragrance. Get your nose on it. And yeah, let's see what's next. We have, so I've heard this said two different ways. 1,019 Wonders or 10,019 Wonders from Ex Nihilo. It is written like 10,019 Wonders, and so that's the way I have said it in the past, but I have heard someone that works for Ex Nihilo say that it's 1,019 Wonders. So there's an extra zero in there, so I don't know. I've always said 10,019 Wonders, but that's not important. And also, the cap on the Ex Nihilo on this one is such a beautiful, like, purple burgundy. It doesn't matter what it's called, because this is Ex Nihilo's Gourmand fragrance. And let me tell you, the honeyed date note in here, the tonka bean vanillic, but still a perfume. This is not a foodie gourmand. It's not a realistic, I want to eat this gourmand, but it is sweet and delectable and just the perfect date fragrance, like the actual date, the, you know, dried fruit date. And it makes me feel warmth and comfort, and it's addictive. The way that it smells, it's addictive to me. And I put this dent in this fragrance in a matter of about a month, maybe a little bit over. I just hauled this not that long ago, and I just was obsessed with it. I sampled it first. I went through my entire sample and was like, I need a full bottle immediately. And it's stunning. It's stunning and sweet, but not overly sickly sweet, but sweet in the way that dates taste to me. And I love dates. I love them. I could eat a whole jar of dates, no problem. But yeah, it's just really beautiful. I think there's cacao pod in here as well. And it is just a beautifully done gourmand fragrance that doesn't feel like it's too, you know, edible foodie gourmand. Not everybody loves gourmands like that. Me, I love all kinds of gourmands. All kinds. But this one is just addictively sweet, addictively sexy, 100% unisex, great sillage, and I think it's a stunning fragrance. I really love it. The notes are dates, cacao pod, caramel, almond, vanilla, and orange blossom. And the orange blossom is not really, really noticeable to me, but I can see why they say it's in there, because there is a little bit of it, but this is not a floral fragrance. This is a cacao pod, dates, honeyed. Well, I said honey earlier, but they say it's caramel, but honey, caramel. Anyways, it is a honeyed, sweet dates fragrance while still being a perfume, while still being a fragrance, and not something you want to eat. Thank goodness, because some of these fragrances that are foodie, they make me hungry. They do. They make me hungry. I want a snack. Anyways, it's addictive. It's beautiful. And I got my sample from the Ex Nihilo actual boutique in Los Angeles, but I am sure that you could get a sample of it on Scent Split or Lucky Scent or any major retailer that carries Ex Nihilo. I don't know if ZGO does, but they may as well. I get a lot of my samples from ZGO Perfumery and Ministry of Scent, and I don't prefer the Lucky Scent samples because they're dabbers. So if it's something that I know I want to spray to experience, I usually will get it from Scent Split or ZGO or the Scent Room LA as well. They do good sized samples that are spray samples, not dabbers. Anyways, I don't know if Scent Room even carries Ex Nihilo. I don't believe they do, but I was just throwing that out there that their samples are better than Lucky Scents. But Lucky Scent has a huge, massive amount of variety to choose from. The list and pages of fragrances that they have just go on and on and on. So each one of these places has their good and their bads, their pros and their cons. And I am lucky to be in the Los Angeles area, so I can just go into these perfumeries and smell full bottles and spray full bottles on my skin. But every once in a while, I don't want to make the drive through LA traffic to do that. And I will just order myself some decants from one of the other places. So, all right, that's it. All right, so we have Amouage Love Delight. And let me tell you, this thing is a delight. I love it. It had me in a chokehold. I was wearing it like day after day after I first got it. Some people were disappointed because they thought it was going to be really, really gourmand. But let me tell you, it has its gourmand elements to it. It does. But it's still a fragrance, and it's still a floral fragrance. And there's a ginger note. There's a little bit of brightness, but there's also some creamy florals in here. And I think this is 100% all year round. I do think it's feminine leaning, but I think a guy could pull this off. But I do feel like it's feminine leaning. And man, the ginger note is so aromatic and almost juicy. Like, if you ever had one of those ginger juice shots, that's kind of like the vibes I'm getting. But it's also creamy floral and a beautiful fragrance. This fragrance makes me feel so pretty. I do think that the performance on this one is nowhere near as good as my Guidance. My Guidance lasts for like 14 days on a sweatshirt. No joke. This one has good performance, great performance, but it's not like Guidance. You're not going to get Guidance performance out of this fragrance, but I think it wears well. It gives good sillage. It's a fantastic fragrance. Just don't expect Guidance potency, because that fragrance just about kill you. If you overspray it, you will choke yourself out. This one you could absolutely choke yourself out with too if you oversprayed, but it's a little bit of a gentler fragrance, just a little softer, a little different. The notes in this are ginger, mandarin, cinnamon, rosewater, heliotrope, jasmine, rose, vanilla, cacao, rum, and cypriol oil. I don't pick up a boozy note in here. If I hadn't read that there was rum in here, I would not even say I don't smell boozy, rummy fragrance in here. I just smell a creamy, almost like if you made ginger marshmallows or something, or like a ginger whipped cream cheesecake vibes, while still being a perfume, while still being floral as well. And I wouldn't necessarily say I pick up the cinnamon, but there is a bit of spice to it, but it makes me think the spice is coming from the ginger. And there's actually a cinnamon note in here. Beautiful fragrance, pretty girl fragrance, boss bee fragrance. This is for my girls that have it put together. But you know what? It's also for my girls that don't. So either way, it's beautiful. Get your nose on it. Go to a department store, Saks, Neiman's, and give it a try. Smell it. All right. Next up, we have Alexandre J's Oriental Enigma. Now, this bottle is beautiful. It's got the gold gilding on it. But if you were to get it without the gold, it would look like this, which is still beautiful. It's got like a mask and a female face with some maybe peacock feathers or something coming out the top. Beautiful, beautiful bottles. They really know how to do packaging, that is for sure. But this is about the fragrance. This fragrance, I could not find a sample of this for the longest time. And it was a Harrods exclusive. And I had heard about it and desperately wanted to get my nose on this. Desperately. It is a fantastic date, vanilla, airy fragrance. But the thing is that when something is elusive like this and you can't get a sample of it and you don't want to blind buy something that's over $300, it sat on my wish list for a long time. Let's just say that. And one day I walked into the Scent Room LA and they had it on display. And I was like, I have been wanting to try this fragrance for so long. And I tried it and I got a sample of it and just fell in love. I was like immediately hooked, immediately addicted, immediately like, yes, I need this. I need this. It's got dates in it. I immediately picked up that there was dates in it, and I love date fragrances. And this it's not identical to any other fragrance that I have that has dates in it, but it is a very specific note, and you will pick it up. And it's nutty. It's warm. It's tonka vanillic. It's airy. It is a beautiful vanilla fragrance. But it's much more than just a vanilla fragrance. And there's something almost a little bit powdery about it, but it's very subtle. It's a very subtle amount of powderiness. It's not a powdery fragrance, but there is just a little bit of a subtle powderiness to it. I love this so much. I am obsessed with it, but I will say the longevity is not great. 4 hours later, I can hardly smell it on my skin, which is a absolute crime and a shame because this is not a cheap bottle of perfume. And the scent itself is fantastic, award-winning, could be in my top 10 or maybe top 20. And I love the way this smells. I think it is 100% unisex, and I think it is warm, comforting, flirty, sexy, all of the things. Date night, 100% addictive, but it doesn't last long enough. So I have a hard time suggesting this to people because I know it doesn't last very long. You will have to re-up on this. That does not bother me. I carry a decant in my purse and I re-up. But for some people, that's a deal breaker. So I'm just being upfront with you that this one, I wish it lasted longer. I do. But the fragrance itself, out of this world. Beautiful. And obviously you can see that there's sort of a similarity in some of my fragrances that I feel addicted to. And dates, nuts, honeyed, things like that, they just get me. And I love it. It's beautiful. The notes in here are dates, hazelnut, hibiscus, orris root, tonka bean, rum, and saffron. Now, I am a saffron hound. I can absolutely tell you if there's saffron in a fragrance, but it's not heavy in here. It's not a very prominent note, but you do get a bit of that. It's a very airy, very soft note of suede, but it's way, way in the background. It's not up front. It's not a powerful contender in here. What's powerful in here is the nutty dates, vanillic honey type of scent. But I actually would probably like it even more if the saffron was more prominent. And then the powderiness is coming from that orris root. But that is also very mild. It's extremely well blended. Really beautiful scent. If you like things like Celine Black Tie or if you have smelled Iconique, the one that I talked about earlier, I think you would really like this fragrance. But now in the US, you can get samples of it from Scent Room LA. And there's probably other retailers that have picked it up by now because this bottle was purchased a long time ago. But get your nose on it and just know that it's not going to last for an entire day. It's just not. But it is well worth it just to smell it. So that is it. You've come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And subscribe, comment, like, all the good things. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.